Hi traders, welcome again to another edition of today's daily US pre-market analysis. Welcome Guzen, welcome Angola, welcome Michael, welcome Jennifer. We'll get started in about a few minutes. Hi Guzen, all is well? Alrighty, fantastic. Glad to hear that. Alright, let me just get everything situated and we'll get started here. Okay. All right, so let me get the disclaimer out the way. It's always going to be disclaimer. All right, well, the information, context, opinions which are expressed in the presentation and on the following slides are solely those of the presenter and not necessarily those of Vantage, and are solely used for educational purposes, as they do not constitute investment advice and or consultation on how a client should trade. Vantage does not guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information provided herein. Okay, so that being said, about your host, I'm Gio Benacourt, a senior VIP market analyst, market educator, and demonstrator of strategies with Vantage, bringing with me over 20 years of experience as a commodity trader, and I hold a CRSP license. I'm also a CMT candidate. The agenda for today, we are going to be looking at the economic calendar, what's moving the markets, identifying key support and resistance levels, trading with Fibonacci tools, and others. About Vantage, well, what we offer is over 1,000 instruments, chart patterns, technical and indicator tools, drawing tools, CFDs on Forex, indices, shares, commodities, and cryptocurrencies. And what we stand for, lightning fast execution, award-winning 24-hour support, intuitive tools, and global connectivity. All right, so before we get started, I always like to just touch some bases on some of my key things that we should be, all traders should be having somehow. So we want to be able to identify clear, consistent trading habits. We want to be able to feel comfortable with the prospect of losing money if the market goes against you. We want to also be emphasizing risk management. Staying in the game is, obviously controlling and taking care of your trading capital. And when we use percentage-wise rather than a dollar value, we help our psychology to be controlled, to be tamed. So I use a 1% risk, between 1 and 2% risk of my trading capital to be allocated per trade. So if I have a 10,000 amount, or $10,000 pound euro in my trading account, I'm looking each trade to be 100 of risk. So I'm looking to risk 100, and my ratio is 1 to 3. So I'm looking to make 3 times as much. And the psychology behind this is that if you have, let's say for example, you also want to have an amount of trading trades that you're looking to do per day, per week. So if you have already in your trading plan that you're only going to take 5 trades that the market gives you, and you lose 2 of those trades and you win 3, you're golden, because those 3 will give you $900, and the 2 that you lost will be 200, so you'll be up 700. And that's just being, even if you do trade a bit more, say 8, and you still happen to lose 5 and you win 3, you're still up 100. So we're thinking of your win ratio of 1 to 3 would also help you control your emotion, and if you're winning, to stay in the trade until you hit that 1 to 3 ratio. Okay, so volatility can spike and spreads widen, so you want to be looking to reduce your leverage, and you can do that by going to client portal and then selecting accounts in the live trading account that you're trading, that you're using. You go to the little wheel, and then on that little wheel you can change the leverage. And obviously, thinking about using stop losses, always have them there. Okay, they're there for a reason. You never know when markets are going to do a whipsaw, and that could take you out fast. And obviously, when you have a trading plan, you want to identify that, the trend. Identify that trend. Going with the trend as your friend. You want to time your entry and your exit points. You want to have risk management, and you want to have confirmation and validation of what you're doing. And obviously, stay away from FOMO. If you see the market is running, let it run, because you never know when the market is going to reverse. So allow it to give you, obviously, some sort of indication that the market has turned. All right, so let's get started with it today. So I want to talk to you about some indicators that perhaps you may not know about. And one of them is called the Williams Fractal. The Williams Fractal is a technical analysis tool that highlights short-term highs and lows on your chart. So a fractal up, an arrow above price, signals a recent local high, while fractal down, arrow below price, signals a local low. Each fractal pattern consists of a sequence of at least 5 bars, with the middle bar forming the peak or trough. Okay, and the way you want to, in front of you have a chart that shows you 5 different bullish fractals. If you look at your hand, you put your hand in front of you like so, and you look at your middle hand, that will be your fractal. You have 2 candles to your left and 2 candles to your right. So it's a formation of 5 candles. And you always want to look for that high. It could be in this case, we see in 6 candles. In this particular, So like in this candle, the second candle, we see it's 6, but we have 2 that are equal high. In this case, we have 3 that are equal high. In this case, we have 2 that are equal high with a middle one, in between. So learning how to use fractals can help you be decisive in that. Now, the how do you apply that? Well, you go to your charts, and then you just look for indicators, and you type in fractals, and then that's it. Okay, so you can also add a 200-day period, an EMA, exponential moving average, to establish overall trend direction for higher probability trades. Now, the fractals works best on a 5, 15, or 30-minute charts for day trading. Okay, and what we're going to be looking at also, besides this puppy, we're also going to be looking at using the VWAP, which stands for volume weighted average price. It plots average price of a futures contract throughout the day, but unlike a simple average, it weights each price by trading volume, giving you a more accurate fair value reference. So most trading platforms for the VWAP has an overlay just added to your chart. So why is VWAP important? So institutional traders use VWAP to gauge whether prices are expensive or cheap relative to the day's trading. VWAP can act as a dynamic support and resistance intraday. Price frequently reacts to its level, and many algorithms and large traders use VWAP as a benchmark for order execution. Okay, so the strategy or the sentiment of how to use the VWAP is that when trend identification is, if price is above the VWAP, the market has bullish sentiment, and you want to look for long setups. And if price is below the VWAP, the market is bearish. Look for short setups. So the VWAP in this chart is the blue line, and we have an upper band and a lower band. So prices, like you see in to your left, prices a lot of times come when they're below the VWAP or above the VWAP. They come to that band and retrace and rebound, just like we see here, see here. Now we can come in and take a trade when we have confirmation that the market is inside the lower band, and our target will be the VWAP, and vice versa. If the market is bouncing off the upper band, then we're looking to enter the market to the downside towards the VWAP in a sell. So you want to look buy orders on the lower band inside the bands, and sell orders inside the bands towards the VWAP, and the VWAP being used as a reversal. So we're gonna be looking at things like that. All right. So let me stop sharing this, and I'm gonna go back now to share my chart so we can hop in and take a look at what we can do and how we can trade using the fractals and the VWAP. Okay, so as we all every single day we come in, look at the market, right? We want to find the direction of the market, and we are clearly in a downtrend, right? We are clearly in a downtrend. Looking at this chart, you can analyze that the market today, even though it has opened with a little gap down in this particular candle, it has been closed, and it had a small fluctuation to the downside so far. Economic news. Take a look at the calendar. What's coming today, and basically we have the minutes, the FOMC minutes coming out later on today. So that's going to be one of those catalysts that could bring more fluctuation to the market. And we have the Jackson Hole meeting also later on the week, tomorrow and Friday. So Friday is going to be one of those days that is going to be a lot of fireworks. All right, so analyzing this particular candle during the London session, which is basically waiting for that, we see that the market around this basic level had created a small level of resistance right here, and that's where the market is, bouncing off of. So can we come and contemplate the idea that the market is going to reverse some of this downward movement pressure? Are we going to find support here? Is this the support that we're looking to find? Okay, the pretty big candles. Market has fluctuated above a level, but the 23,400 is a psychological value that is being sustained. So when we talk about also in regards to what other things we see or speculate that the market will do, and we have some more readings about the effect of the AI trade. An unexpected tech sell-off has woken the market from the its summer snooze. So investors may have been dreaming of a calm week, and culminating the the Fed's signaling multiple cuts ahead and more gains for stocks. So that still may happen, but yesterday provided a reminder of how reliant the market is on tech companies and the artificial intelligence boom. So can we contemplate the idea that the market is going to sustain is downward pressure? Well, if that's the case, we need to obviously come here and look for some levels of support. And since we already have fluctuated below 23,400, we might as well just use today's London session swing low as our first level of support, meaning that the market is going to continue to move lower. We most likely come and revisit that low. From there, 23,200 being a psychological value is what I'm going to use as a second level of support resistance. Okay, Well, resistance, that swing high is just too tight of a range. So I'm going to look towards a value that I may be able to find support and resistance from. And I'm just going to come here and use 23,600 as a possible level of resistance. And from here, just use half another week. Actually, let's just use yesterday's open and see if that will be the case. Okay, so let's apply the fractals. So again, you just go to your indicator, use fractals, and there they are, Williams fractals. Just select it, and I already have it here, so I'll turn it on. So the here we have the fractal. All right, we wanted to have been able to see that after the fractal, the market would have reversed and started trading higher for us to take that fractal trade. But the market has been in a downtrend, and this is a daily chart. So again, it will work on a 5, 15, or 30 minute. Okay, so let's go down to the 5 minute and see in this case what we could see, and nothing has happened here really. So let's just go back into a daily and start identifying the rest of the levels for today trading of support and resistance of the rest of the assets. So today, all right. So again, using for the indexes, I'm going to be using today's so far London session swing lows. And then from there, looking for other levels like such swing lows as a possible level of support. 64.50 psychological level has been there before, and just basically yesterday's swing high for the S&P. So we have the daily ranges. If you were to use if you were to say in a different time frame and just use that time frame, then that's where you look for your levels of support and resistance. But we're doing day trading, so what are the odds for obviously the market to come towards those levels on a daily basis by the end of the day? So swing lows, using that again, that's previous swing low. As far as resistance in this case, I'm going to look for a swing high, previous swing high, and I'm going to use basically this level and yesterday's parabolic movement to the upside on the Dow. So again, looking for sideways trading in the Dow really, as it has been shown, because the S&P has shown more of a downtrend so far. Now, could it be today that the day where we actually just reverse all of this? We do have a previous level of resistance that we just now support, okay, right below the market. So if the market happens to fluctuate or continue this downtrend, we could and we penetrate this level of support, we could contemplate the idea that this would be the place where it finds support, it will rebound, and perhaps this will be a reversal trade around that area. So let's take a look at crude oil. All right, so in this daily candlestick chart, the crude oil is making equal highs, equal lows. This is a great setup for a breakout or a breakdown. Okay, so it's been there basically now. This is third consecutive day that it has been within range. So therefore, I'm going to just tighten up my levels of resistance, and so I'm going to use 64 as a psychological level of resistance. If the market decides to break out, that'll be our first target. And as far as support, I'm actually going to just bring up the first level of support to basically Monday's fluctuation low, swing low. Okay, so again, we have come from a downtrend. Okay, finding that low, but not really being able to recover that much. So $60 is still on the far end of the spectrum, and that's where things could probably just fluctuate towards because of all of this geopolitical situations happening. All right, nat gas yesterday had just a strong sell-off, so we had spoken about shorting nat gas. So 265, 270 is going to be our first level. Now this could just reverse and recover. So 280 is going to be our first level of resistance, and I'm going to use yesterday's opening to see if the asset does decides to recover or reverse this movement. Will it recover and obviously come back, or is it going to just continue to push lower? So my speculation is that the asset will continue to push lower. So looking for shorts. Gold. All right, so gold is catching a bid. It seems to be looking to recover. All right, it has yesterday. It basically just broke up both of our levels of support. So today, 3,300 strong psychological value here. Okay, initially I'm gonna use that and then a swing low of a previous day, which is basically our next swing low from our previous swing low. There's nothing else, so that one will be the swing low. So, but wait a minute. Let me do the resistance. So 3350 is a level that has previously been used and it has held. So I'm gonna use 3370 as my second level of resistance, and looking for this movement to continue. We want to see the RSI peaking above 50 and continue higher for us to and understand that the momentum to the upside is being applied, is being gained. All right, so we have silver that has done a quite dip to a 37. So therefore we need to, I'm gonna use that swing low again. So today we have to. I know it's gonna create a pretty wide range here, but let's use previous swing lows as targets for support, and then previous swing, also those swing lows as levels of resistance. And I'm gonna use yesterday's swing high. So I'm gonna use this doji and then this swing high. All right, now let's take a look at copper. All right, so copper seems to be giving us some sort of a reversal moves here on this push lower. So from here, I'm gonna use 4380 and then the previous swing low, because this swing low matches this swing low. My next swing low is going to be this one. So that's our targets. Resistance from my swing, I'm going to use this and then yesterday's swing high. Actually, I'm going to use yesterday's open for our daily levels of support and resistance. Bitcoin, it is losing trend. It's just trending lower and lower. I'm gonna leave the same level, 112 and then 110, because Bitcoin moved for thousands. But I think Bitcoin might just do a reversal today and recover. Let's see if that's the case. So 116,000 initial target. The currencies. So the euro is looking to stay north of 116. So I'm going to leave that and then just use 116,200 as we should almost basically today's swing low. And then 116,800 initial resistance. And then this level right here, for some reason the market has been around this level quite some time. So anywhere around there, which is close to 117 psychological value. So looking for a move up long on the euro. Oh, the pound just continues to give us red day. So I'm gonna leave this the second support as it is, and then looking back, next swing low is that one. So that's what I'm gonna use. So yesterday swing high for my first level of resistance, and then the previous day swings high. That's my second. Then dollar index. Okay, so the dollar index today actually penetrated our level of resistance that we have placed yesterday. So can this fellow continue to move higher? So we need to, I'm going to leave today's swing high as a possible level of resistance, and then 98.40 or a second, leaving yesterday's swing low as a possible level, first level, and somewhere in between my swing low and that one, I'm going to use that as possible level of support. So there's no really criteria when it comes to identifying these things. All right, so we still have about 6 minutes left for the market to open. Okay, let me just do something here real quick. Hold on for 1 second. If you have any questions, just go ahead and drop them on the chat. I want to be able to just answer them for you. If you have any questions, any comments. Hold for 1 second. So what's the dollar index gold correlation? All right, so when it comes to dollar index and gold correlation, we're looking at the market. So we have the dollar index here in front of us. All right, so you see how we are in the negative in the change for the dollar index, and you see that we're in positive on the dollar on gold. So whenever you see the dollar index fluctuating lower in the red, you'll see a push on the currencies and the metals in reality. Okay, so there's an inverse correlation in there. So dollar index drops, gold rises, spikes. Okay, now also there's a correlation between Nasdaq and crude oil. Okay, so correlation inverted, correlation under also. So crude oil pushes higher, you'll see the Nasdaq pushing lower, because Nasdaq has a lot of technological companies that are in the industry, or in the crude oil industry. Okay, so basically that's one of the reasons. Now you could also see a correlation between the Canadian dollar US dollar pair against the crude oil. So you'll see that also, that particular correlation there, Canadian USD and crude oil. There's an inverse correlation in there also. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so we're about to start here in about 3 minutes. The market will should sound. So let's take a, so now I'll go down to 1 hour. Right, take a look at what the market has been doing for the past hours to get a sense of the momentum side, which side is the momentum pushing off, right? So in this particular chart, we see how the market has been on a downtrend, finding that low, basically identified, the change of direction by a hammer, okay, and the market fluctuating higher. So can we come in? This is a great setup for, let's see, for the fractals. Okay, well, this has been taken out, but had we not had this particular low fractal here, using the fractals from a low fractal to a high fractal and combining that with the Fibonacci retracement tool, where you graph the the low of that fractal and the high of that fractal. And in this case, I want to use my template of this. So I can come and speculate using my Fibonacci retracement tool, where I've added values to the upside, and using the fractals, measuring that movement, right? I will say to myself, okay, so on the second candle to the right, which is basically this one, had we not had this low fractal, so scratch that out. Don't think about this one. So this would be the second second candle of this fractal. But we need 5, 1 in the middle, 2 to each side. So this will be the second on the right hand side. And right when I see the fractal, and right when I see this candle being taken, wherever the candle reverse off, so in this case 38.20%, I would have taken that trade, and then my target for this trade will be 61.80, the golden ratio. Okay, now does that mean am I being bullish at this momentum? Well, we have to also keep in mind that the market is about to open, so it's going to be a volatility here. It could just like it could just shut up to that level, as well as it could just continue to trend lower. All right, so market has opened. That was the bell. Hope you heard it. So where if we were already in the market, right, having that 30-minute window, and we have seen this setup, then that's a trade for me right there and then. So I'm looking for a long position. So let's say, for example, I had taken here that position. Now where do I put my stop? Well, I will need to obviously place that stop wherever that percentage will be, that 1% would be. So let's just say that this fractal low, and the target would have been that particular swing. Again, the market, I'm doing this just as an explanation of a possible trade setup, but as the market just opened, we were expecting fluctuation. So the trend is lower. We needed to obviously have the market already show us the direction that it was going to be taking. So in this case, obviously, again, it's just an explanation of what have we already been in a normal market, where the direction will be. Now, still, we could still say that the market, this could have been a trade. Market entering the market all the way down here, because it's rebounding off of that, and still, so whatever we take the trade in this yellow zone, our target will be that yellow line. If we have taken the trade in this blue line, our target will be this blue line. If we had waited for the market to retrace deeper and rebound off this a red line level, our target will be this red level. Okay, but obviously there's volatility, the market just open, so this particular scenario doesn't apply just now. We obviously we want the market to be off of it. Now let's apply the VWAP in this scenario. So here's the VWAP. The blue line is the VWAP. Okay, we have the lower band and the upper band. Let's go back down to 5 minutes and see where that will take us. Okay, in the scenario, so the market is fluctuating downward. So it was basically, obviously, we understand it was a sell-off scenario, looking to trend lower. Are we? How much lower are we looking to trend? We don't have any fractals now because the market is fluctuating. It's a strong fluctuation. So that direction was probably to the downside, obviously, when the market opens, and that's what it's showing us. But again, we need for the market to be for the dust to settle, and then see where we can find trades. So let's just go down the list to see how much of of a wild swings that we're having on the assets that we're following. So there you go, pretty strong wick for the Dow to the upside initially, then push lower. What a difference in direction to begin with for the Dow comparison to the Nasdaq and the S&P, which we in the Dow we first had a fluctuation to the upside and then pull back, and the S&P we first had that we had it move to, but it was stronger to the downside. Nasdaq, which is basically downside, so it has dipped quite a lot. So is that just flushing out those sellers that were thinking that the market was going to continue to move lower, or not? So let's take a look at crude oil. All right, so the assessment that we have spoken about earlier, if the market pushes lower, then Nasdaq will push higher. If the crude oil, well, see how it's dropping, but this one is also dropping, but actually is recovering, but it's not 100%. Again, is the market is opening, so we don't, obviously we all know that there's a lot of volatility at the open, and that's why we want to wait for the market to just show us what it's doing. All right, so in this particular case that we have not gas, and in this particular scenario, if we were to take the market is fluctuating to the upside, now in this scenario, can we take a trade to the upside because it's bouncing off the upper Bollinger Band, up the upper band of the VWAP? That could have been a trade just as much as another a trade which is open inside the band. The demand is for us to contemplate the idea that the market is going to retrace and find its way down towards the VWAP. Because again, what is the VWAP? Is the volume weighted average price, right? So you have two choices there, either to go short or to go long. Then you will need confirmation. Confirmation being what? All right, so the RSI is pointing higher. That could still be a good trade if you decided to have taken that trade. Your initial target will be the opening of that candle or the swing high of that candle. Okay, so that would have been a trade setup that you would have to decide, to go short or to go long. But obviously we're bouncing off the band. Then we have gold. All right, so gold here have made a fractal low. Okay, so in this particular scenario, we want to wait for that fractal high to be shown. So we still haven't had it because we're still basically on our second candle, and we still have 3 minutes and 25 seconds for it to finish. So let's take a look at silver. So silver, right when it opened, pop to the upside. All right, so that's a good indication of momentum being right. Even though we have seen some pullbacks, but as far as we see that the dollar index continues to drop because this negative is incrementing, then we could contemplate the okay. So the silver and gold are gonna have a bid to the upside, and gold is basically right there, right? So are we gonna be able to see that silver will fluctuate above our level of resistance and then do a throwback to what will be then be support, and from here do a reversal, rebound off that support line in that case, because right now it's a resistance. So we want the market to come up, break or fluctuate above that level of resistance, and then from there do a throwback to what be then support, and from here off to the races. Target 37.90 as a scalp trade. If you're gonna sustain that trade, then obviously it will be a psychological value of 38. So that's what we've seen so far here in this candle. Market is fluctuating above that level of resistance, which is now has converted itself into a level of support. So will the market do a throwback which is doing that so far, into that what is called now support. And from here, obviously we want to wait and see where this candle closes, right? To see if it goes above what is now our level of support and continue its trajectory higher, right? So we still have a minute and 15 seconds. I mean, a minute 20 in there. RSI, obviously, in this 5 minute is completely overbought, but this was indication, pretty, see, equal highs, equal lows. I mean, it's just like waiting, market open, pop to the upside. So momentum is built here. All right, so let's see where this candle will close, because it has fluctuated below. It's on a strong throwback towards that support level, now resistance again, and see where this candle will close. We want it to close above that level, but it's not looking like so. Looking that it's going to retrace. It's giving us a retracement. How much of a retracement is that going to be? Is that just profit taking? Is that just rebalancing itself out and just to continue its trajectory higher? We still have 20 seconds. 18, 15. Let's see where this candle actually closes. Because if it closes as a doji again, then that just tells you also that sellers are not being able to take control of this, and these buyers are still holding that fluctuation higher. Okay, so it did close in the red, below our level of now resistance again. So this particular scenario is weighted out. So let's go into another asset and see what we could contemplate of trading. All right, so we have a fractal low, but we don't have a fractal high yet for us to come in, identify a possible trade setup. With that, if we do happen to fluctuate lower towards the upper band of the VWAP, can we take a trade, a reversal trade here? Or is this just an opportunity for us to come in and trade higher? I mean, into this zone. RSI in this market, in this particular time frame, is still is not overbought yet, but is about to enter. Take a look at the Bitcoin. Bitcoin, strong move to the upside. I mean, that's a pretty long wick. Okay. So is this gonna be a continuation to the downside, because it didn't finish in what it's looking to do? So 113 would be that target if you enter short. Currencies, tug of war. Look at that, long wicks. So there's a strong battle between the buyers and sellers here. Pound created basically a floor right around 137, 134, 789. So around that level, pretty strong. Dollar index, we want this puppy to just fall if we are gonna look to enter long on gold and currencies. Okay, but it's looking to sustain itself around the 98 marker. All right, let's go take a look at the assets, the indices. All right, so the index, the Nasdaq is fluctuating lower, looking to find support at that level. Now, is it gonna find support? Are we gonna see a continuation to the downside, or is this just a red market today? Is it gonna be just fluctuate to the downside? If that's the case, if your mentality is for you to sell the indices, look for psychological values. All right, 23,300 will be your ultimate goal here. Right below that, we have 23,200, obviously. So let's see. Let's take a look at the S&P. So there was a setup here, fractal high, but the market is not giving us. We'll have to wait and see if the market will actually come. And in this case, using the VWAP, the market came in reverse of the lower band, came to the VWAP. That would have been a great entry right there. Reversal trade to the upside. The VWAP was your target. Now, is there enough momentum in this candle in this market so far for it to reverse that? We still gotta wait for the dust to settle. So we can come in and say that if we were to have been already half an hour, have we already created a range for the S&P of 64.15 and 64.29, 64.30. Okay, so a 15-point range. Will that be the case for today or not? Obviously, we would contemplate or we speculate, and the market might continue to reverse. So here we have the Dow hit our levels of resistance, fluctuated lower, looking to continue to lower. 45,000 psychological level of support. If the market does continue to trade here towards the level, we should see some buyers sitting here waiting to hold that level, and also profit taking will be taking in place. Crude oil fluctuating above the upper band, but we still gotta wait. It hasn't been 15 minutes. So let's see. Nat gas. All right, so nat gas bouncing off the upper band, and it continued, but now it's retracing. So 9 seconds, 7 seconds, 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1, and doji. So doji telling us there's going to be a trend change, but this candle opened a gap higher, so momentum to the upside is still being favored. So if we do decide to enter long, our next target would be the previous high, would the fractal high would be. So in this particular case, one of the trade setups for using the fractals is that you want to be able to come in and confirm prices above a moving average, and I'm gonna activate my 50-day moving average, and we see that price is above an EMA. This is an exponential moving average, so the trend is higher. So we want to identify the most recent fractal up, so that's that one, and we want to place a buy stop order a few ticks above the high of this fractal. So the high of this fractal is 2.763, right? Now you could be aggressive and say, okay, that will be my target if I enter long this asset, or I'm gonna wait for the market to come towards that particular level and then enter the market. Or if I enter the market now and I'm obviously reaching that level, am I going to add to my position already, because that will tell me that the momentum is strong to the upside and moving higher. If I apply my Fibonacci retracement tool with my values, then I will say to myself, okay, so if I take a trade now, that particular high, that 2763 is a target, but since I'm taking a trade within the yellow zone, my ultimate target will be 6180. Again, this could be a deeper entry. Now we've fallen into the upper bound, into the upper band, right? Can we come in and say, rather than doing all of that, I'm just gonna wait to see where this candle finishes and then decide to take a trade either long or short? How is it going to be traced to the VWAP, or is the volume weighted average price is around the upper band of the VWAP, and so therefore telling me the momentum is to the upside, because the trend, the market, or the average value weighted price is to the upside. But we have a pretty strong challenge here between buyers and sellers in this particular candle, and see where this candle will end, will close, so we can have an indication of a continuation to the upside. Because the doji said, well, there's going to be a trend change, but if the trend, what was the trend prior to that? It was a green candle, but we had pushed lower. But we are basically in a coffin of congestion in reality. We want to be able to wait and see where this candle will close. We still have a minute left. And that gas is just my predicament or my speculation of nat gas is to sell, to enter short. That's my speculation of my sentiment of nat gas is obviously to be entering short. But we actually we're looking at a high here. Now you want to change direction. Well, let's do from it's that swing high to the swing low, that swing low. So now if we take a short position, the target will be down here. Because if we take a short order entry in any of this yellow zone, this will be our target. Blue to blue, red to red. So yellow to yellow, blue to blue, red to red. That's if you enter it short. All right, so we have here the next candle open basically where the other one closed. Okay, open with the other one closed. So what are we to do? What's the trade plan here? Well, showing us momentum to the downside is being gained. So could we have a short entry here? All right, we'll come back to it. Let's leave that there. Let's come back over here. Let's go to gold. Ooh, gold just made a strong move to the downside. We did have a fractal high. So can we come in and just do this? So we take in the trade here, the blue line, so targets a blue line, which is right above our level of resistance, psychological level of resistance. Would that be the case? Or is gold going to continue to drop? I mean, we do our level of support around there for gold. What is the dollar index doing? Well, the dollar index has changed. We were 100 and change, now we're in the 50s. So is the dollar index putting pressure on gold? Yeah, it's recovering. So most likely gold is going to make another leg lower. Let's take a look at silver. What's silver doing? So again, here we have a fractal low to a fractal high. Can we be doing this? Is this, if it fluctuates lower, I can trade at this level, move higher, target 61.80. Copper is in the inside between the VWAP and the upper band, and it pushes lower. So should you wait for the market to come towards the VWAP? Should you come and sell, or is this going to be a reversal? But doji after an uptrend, change of trend, and that's what it's showing us. Bitcoin. Oh, so Bitcoin is continually to trend lower. So keep that in mind. The euro. All right, so looking at the 50 moving average, it was rejected. But obviously, again, the dollar index. Okay, the dollar index is losing ground now. It's back up to nearly 100. So that's helping the currencies. The euro, the pound, now is fluctuating below the lower band and the VWAP. So could this be a case where we can come and speculate that the market will perhaps do something like this and just turn lower, or the market is going to recuperate and just fluctuate back into the bands. So the dollar index had a pretty strong wick. Basically the 50-day moving average and the lower band of the VWAP rejected that level. So, but if the dollar index does continues to appreciate and recover and hoppers up into the bands, to the VWAP, then we will see a push lower on metals and the currencies. Now let's go back to our Nasdaq. Ooh, Nasdaq just tanked. All the supports have been taken out. So selling has been in the works for the indexes. Oh, they just dropped. They tanked. And crude oil is also tanking. Nat gas. Nat gas should be following crude oil to create a lower leg. All right, so gold catching that bid to the upside. Silver is retracing. Let's see, what will silver do now? Is it gonna find that support? Because it's right at that particular level. You know, we have this zone here. Support. Is it gonna be penetrating that? Well, dollar index gonna help it. Copper. Do we have copper here? Okay. Bitcoin continue to move lower. And then we have the currencies. The euro looking to sustain itself north of 116. The pound catching a little bit of a bid. All right. So we want to see the dollar index drop, but it's looking mighty strong. All right. So the assets, the indexes, can we come in and find support here, or is it going to continue to move towards the 23,100? That's what it seems like. So trending lower, 23,100. Support levels have been taken out all across the indexes, well, besides the Dow. Crude oil gap up, closed, momentum to the upside. So that's the case. We're going to be more targeting the 50-day moving average and the upper band. Nat gas is just now it has retraced entire movement, so that's taken out. So selling nat gas, gold. All right, so if we rebound off that level, let's see if you continue to appreciate. Target, it's the 33.50. Silver, so we rebound off the red level, so 37.85. Bouncing up the VWAP towards the upper band, so that'll be for copper and be short or long, sorry. Then we have Bitcoin. Has it found support here, so sustain it, as we'll see. Then we have the euro, the pound, climbing back up, target VWAP, US dollar index. We want this puppy to drop more, just make another drop. And the indexes seems to have been able to sustain itself. I'm looking for this to continue anyhow during the day. S&P, Dow should catch up with its peers. Crude oil, and then we have nat gas that is just lingering. Gold still churning along higher. So take the trade on the blue line, target blue line. Then we have silver chugging along. Copper is just tanking. Ooh, wow. It's just continuing to drop. All right, guys. Well, that's it for me today. Okay. Continuation to the downside. So Bitcoin, 112,000 psychological support. The euro, 116 psychological support. The pound, in this case, I'm gonna look for 134.5. And the dollar index, well, if this puppy decides to climb back into the VWAP, then you'll see a continuation to the downside on the currencies and the metals. That's it for me today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, tomorrow, again, same time, same place. See you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.